Welcome to the Future Quake Show. I am Dr. Future.
And I am Tom Bionic.
And it's Friday. It's time for tomorrow's Tremors, or today's review of the future's news.
That's the future tremor.
Right. And it's the last day of our dim sum week.
Yes.
On Future Quake this week.
Indeed.
It's interesting to pause back and look in retrospect of this week, the way we were.
This was like a whirlwind.
Yeah, lots of people.
Yeah.
We started talking about the Bohemian Grove and about your visit to it.
Yeah,
your remarkable visit.
We even played the thing. You know, I would like to do something real quick. We didn't have a chance to get it in there, but I would like to give directions on how to get to the front gate of the Grove.
Okay.
If that's
Somebody
okay.
wants to go, if you're in that area?
Let's see.
We do have some California listeners, too.
If you want to do this, what you want to do is you want to fly into...
Just do it quickly.
Okay, fly into San Francisco, and then, let's see. Where's my... Oh, I'm fired.
Okay.
Let's do it later.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, he called an audible on us here. Well, do you want me to share a couple quick stories about
I would love for you to share a couple quick stories.
Because we were running close on time here. This was a notice that was on the Huffington Post, which is, I think, sort of a left-wing kind of thing.
Nah.
It says...
Not the Huffington Post.
Just noticed that Barack Obama and John McCain are slated to attend the doings at Bohemian Grove in late July. As most know, this is an exclusive gathering of establishment figures. Letting off steam in a grove filled with redwoods may be a needed recreation for the high-powered, but it would appear that the overtones of the gatherings are less than savory. Do you think Barack would be wise to attend a woodland romp where folk allegedly dress up like clan figures and conduct simulated human sacrifices? I have appended a quote from the page here on Truth News about it. So it says, outgoing George W. Bush and both of his presumptive replacements, John McCain and Barack Obama, are rumored to be in attendance at this year's gathering, an annual get-together of the global elite. And it was run until July 27th. It's a Bohemian Grove is a 136-year-old all-male encampment complete with restaurant, bars, stages, and lodges, caters to around 2,000 members of the global elite on a yearly basis in July. So, former attendees, Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon, Henry Kissinger, Colin Powell, and
Stephen Bechtel, the
right.
Bechtel family.
Right. And another quick word, if you got a minute for me about this.
Lay it on us.
Is about a recent event that happened this year where a Vanity Fair editor was arrested at Bohemian Grove. This is coming from a report out of San Francisco. Pat Murphy, San Francisco Sentinel editor and publisher, reports that Vanity Fair writer and editor Alex Shumatoff was arrested earlier this week for trespassing at the world-famous Bohemian Grove, the exclusive getaway of some of the world's most powerful men who gather there every year in July for 2 weeks. By the way, I don't think I've ever heard another Christian show talk about Bohemian Grove.
No, of course not. It's too important.
But some of their
I don't know.
But some of their friends they support go to Bohemian Grove.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Some of the people they speak for.
Would somebody who describes himself as the evangelical president, I think the people who voted for him would feel very different if they knew that he said that all Jews, Muslims, everybody goes to heaven. You don't need to know Jesus, and gets together and with a couple thousand of his buddies in the redwoods and wears a big red robe.
Yeah, including the one that they're currently behind right now.
Yeah.
The one currently looking to elect.
Yes.
It says here that Mr. Murphy pokes fun at this gentleman, making light of his Pebble Beach sweater, then tells us that Shumatoff was writing a story about the club's plan to thin its Douglas fir and diseased oak trees to help prevent the forest fires that have swept Big Sur, North California, an assignment he accepted at the behest of someone who was described by Murphy as a disgruntled former member of the Bohemian Club. Bohemian Club, let me see, I'm going to skip about some of the information about them. A few journalists have gotten into the Grove and been allowed to tell a tale. One exception is Philip Weiss, whose November 1989 Spy magazine piece provides the most detailed inside account, and members maintain that the goings-on are not newsworthy event, merely private fun, even though all of the world's elite that don't even get together in the United Nations go here, and it's not newsworthy.
Yeah.
In fact, official business is conducted there. Policy speeches are regularly made by members and guests, and the club privately boasts that the Manhattan Project was conceived on its grounds.
Yeah, sure.
I'd say that Manhattan Project was a pretty big deal.
Well, I have a friend of mine who's multi-generational.
Himself?
Grove. Well, his family's a multi-generational Grove attendees. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
His father was part of the Manhattan Project, and through his son, who's also a Grove member, he's mentioned that's true.
Wow. Well, let me just go on. However, and this is just quoting from the person from the San Francisco Sentinel, as Alex Jones has starkly revealed, far more sinister things other than policy speeches go on at the Grove, and that is why journalists such as Dirk Matheson, San Francisco bureau chief for People magazine, were removed. Matheson's entree into the secret world of the Grove was cut short on July 20th, 1991, when he was recognized by two of the participants in the festivities, executives from Time Warner, People's publisher. More loyal to the Grove than to journalistic endeavor, they had the reporter removed from the premises. In other words, they didn't want him to see as an employee of what his bosses were doing there.
Wow.
That's my comment. Time Warner is not the only media corporation with Bohemian connections. The list of the Fourth Estate bigwigs is extensive. The former CEO of Times Mirror, William Randolph Hearst, as you mentioned, folks from Scripps Howard, Tom Johnson, president of CNN, and former publisher of the LA Times. In other words, a wide right array of corporate media bigwigs participate in the festivities, which include the worship of Luciferianism, the sacrifice of human effigies, arcane druid ceremonies before a large stone owl, mystery religion incantations, and other rituals, apparently including sodomy, and that's why journalists are not allowed. Matheson, however, was lucky to have been simply removed. Chris Jones, webmaster for radio talk show host Jack McLam, who I've considered having on our show, was imprisoned after he infiltrated the Grove as an employee and filmed the festivities. The film footage was used in Alex Jones' The Order of Death video. Chris is currently in California jail for showing his neighbors the video's dark secrets inside Bohemian Grove and Order of Death by Alex Jones. Some of the neighbors were minors, which the court ruled as justification for imprisonment. Chris was sentenced for 3 years in the jail in Orange, California. He's been transferred to the Wasco State Prison in California.
That's a pretty heavy prison, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Where his life could be in danger, it says.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
Obviously, the elite were not amused by Chris Jones' attempt to reveal the Grove from the inside out. Outgoing President George W. Bush and both of his presumptive replacements, John McCain and Barack Obama, are rumored to be in attendance at this year's Bohemian Grove gathering, an annual get-together of the global elite on the 27th of July. You'd think, as a supposed journalist, Pat Murphy of the San Francisco Sentinel, this is a commentary on who printed this, would be interested in such bizarre activity going on in his backyard. That right there is a good enough reason for my regular comment of voting for the third party of your choice.
Yeah.
Anybody who's involved in that kind of activity, to me, is not deserving of being any kind of leader in our country.
Yeah. Ding. Hit the nail on the head prize.
Politics aside, I'm not trying to go into any particular details.
Vote for any party you want as long as it's not one of the major two.
Those people are plays up for fools.
Sure, and they're like wide open about it. Scott McClellan said, well, I just saw the quote. I don't know when he said it, but I saw the quote just a couple days ago. He said, well, we issued talking points to all the commentators of the major news networks for over the Iraq War. And they said, so essentially you made them spokespersons. He said, oh, absolutely.
Well, we've read on the news here a Pentagon, and we're not trying to pick just on Republicans. This is an innate feature.
Yeah, this is
of our
red
elite,
or blue,
our elite political establishment. They've actually had a program in the Pentagon to put retired ex-generals in these positions with talking points they were given to be, quote, independent experts to promote the war.
Yeah, I like how you said, quote, independent experts, because it's just...
But that's how they were portrayed.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So those were just a couple of Bohemian Grove stories. Did you have any final...
I did. Here, as I was trying to do before I called the audible there, what you want to do, to get to Bohemian Grove, you want to fly into San Francisco and rent a car. You'll drive north on Highway 101 until you get to Santa Rosa, then take Highway 12 west until you hit Gravenstein Highway. That's not very far, a couple miles. And go north. Eventually, you're going to hit Highway 116, right? You'll get up in the redwoods there. You'll go west again on Highway 116 until you come to the town of Monte Rio. You'll go through Monte Rio is kind of a one lane town.
Yeah.
Right before you come, there'll be a bridge that'll go over the Russian River. There'll be kind of a 4-way stop you come to, and you'll see it. You want to go left onto Bohemian Highway, right? So you go left onto Bohemian Highway there. You go over a bridge. To your right, I believe, is the is like a center. What is it? The Chamber of Commerce kind of community center. Then you'll hit Bohemian Avenue, right? Turn left on Bohemian Avenue, follow that around, and that puts you right at the front door of Bohemian Grove.
Okay. Then they will arrest you, and then they take you to that prison we were talking about, right?
I don't recommend breaking in.
Okay.
I just recommend if you want to go see, if you doubt what we're talking about, go see the front door.
Or just get roughed up by security like you did, and leave it at that.
Well, they didn't actually lay hands on me, but it was a little bit verbal.
Well, because they were intimidated by you.
That must have been it.
Did you say, "Don't you know who I am"?
Yeah, and that's when they pulled the guns out.
Okay.
Chased me off.
Being serious, though, this is the real deal. This is not some kind of made-up fantasy, internet rumor kind of thing.
It sounds nuts. Just go to YouTube and type Bohemian Grove Exposed.
And they know that the more nuts the kind of stuff they do, the more they can flaunt it. Because nobody believes it.
Sure. Well, and I think that there's been a real move in the community, in the culture at large, to balkanize different segments of the population. So people who find this stuff out are immediately marginalized because
they make artificial enemy, left, right, Republican, Democrat, that kind of thing, that keeps the proletariat busy.
Yes,
keeps them occupied while they go about their business.
Rather like that movie Brazil, where they constantly had this threat of enemies and terrorism and all that
1984,
stuff.
I was war with Eurasia or East Asia.
Yes.
And that's their approach. So if you have any interest in hearing more about this, if you'd like for us to pursue it further, send us an email, and Merv will let you know at the end of the show about how to do that. Would you like me to do another quick story, or would you like to do one?
I'm going to do I'd like to do this one that came off of the online edition of India's national newspaper.
Okay.
And I want to send this one out to some friends of mine who had some interesting experiences with kind of an interesting group from India. We got to meet some Sai Baba devotees, which is very interesting for people like me who are completely inerrant.
You were just like getting in and out of intense situations. You noticed that?
It's my hair.
You came into a group of a Sai Baba cult?
Yes, we did. Me and a couple of other friends of mine, we went and played, and they were all Sai Baba devotees.
That's SAIBABA.
Yep.
Look it up in Wikipedia.
Yep, check them out.
It'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
I did after he told me about it.
It's nutty.